Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Razia. Today we will discuss about the regulation of potassium secretion. This is the continuation of our previous lecture. Now, which is the potassium excretion. So, increase extracellular fluid potassium concentration that can stimulate the potassium secretions and role of the aldosterone. So, effect of plasma aldosterone concentration you can see here in this graph. The red line and extracellular potassium ion concentration that is represented in a black line. On the rate of urinary potassium excretion. These factors stimulate potassium secretion by the principal cell of the cortical collecting tubules and show the interrelated effect of aldosterone and plasma potassium on the potassium excretion. So, this effect is especially pronounced when extracellular fluid potassium concentration rises above about 4.1 milliequivalent, which is slightly less than the normal concentration. So increased plasma potassium concentration therefore serve as one of the most important mechanisms for increasing potassium secretion and regulating the extracellular fluid ion concentration. Most important factor that stimulate the potassium secretion by principal cell, it includes number 1 the increased extracellular fluid potassium concentration, number 2 increased aldosterone, and increase number 3 is the increased tubular flow rate. You can see here in this diagram the increased dietary potassium intake and increased extracellular fluid potassium concentration stimulate the potassium secretions by the four mechanisms. Number 1 increase extracellular fluid potassium concentration that can stimulate the sodium potassium ATPase pump, which increases the potassium uptake across the basolateral membrane. Number 2, the increased extracellular potassium concentration, which increases the potassium gradient for the renal interstitial fluids to the anterior of epithelial cells, which reduces the back leakage of potassium ion from inside the cell through the basolateral membrane. And the third point, increased potassium intake stimulate the synthesis of potassium channels that translocate from the cytosol to luminal membrane. And fourth one, increased plasma concentration which stimulate the aldosterone secretion by the adrenal cortex, which further stimulate the potassium secretions. Aldosterone thus affect through the sodium potassium ATPase pump that transports sodium outward through the basolateral membrane of the cell and into the renal interstitial fluid at the same time that it pumps potassium into the cells. This is a very powerful effect of the aldosterone to control the rate at which the principal cell secrete potassium. The second effect of aldosterone is to increase number of potassium channels into the luminal membrane, and therefore its permeability for potassium, further adding to effectiveness of aldosterone in stimulating the potassium secretion. And the third most important fact you can see in the next figure. Aldosterone stimulate the potassium secretion, increase ion concentration that stimulate the aldosterone secretions. In the case of aldosterone potassium control system, the rate of aldosterone secretion by the adrenal gland is controlled strongly by the extracellular fluid ion concentration, This figure shows that increase in plasma potassium concentration of about 3 milliequivalent can increase plasma aldosterone concentration from nearly 0 to as high as 6 to 60 nanogram per 100 ml. You can see in this picture, which is almost 10 times normal. The effect of potassium ion concentration to stimulate the aldosterone secretion is a part of powerful feedback system for regulating the potassium secretion. In this tabulated form flowchart, you can see in this feedback system an increase in plasma potassium concentration that stimulate the aldosterone secretions, therefore increases the blood level of the aldosterone. You can see in the block 1 here the increase in the blood aldosterone then causes a marked increase in potassium excretion by the kidney in the block 2. The increased potassium excretion then reduces the extracellular fluid potassium concentration back towards the normal, circle 3 and the block 4. This feedback mechanism acts synergistically with the direct effect of increased extracellular potassium concentration to elevate the potassium excretion when potassium intake is raised. However, for the control mechanism, there is also the potassium increase. You can see here in this flow chart, the potassium increase can lead to increase the plasma concentration of the potassium. This also lead to the potassium cortical collecting tubules and increase the potassium secretions, which is controlled by the aldosterone. Now, if the excess of the potassium concentration are here, so another mechanism, which is the blockade of aldosterone feedback system, greatly impair control of potassium concentration. The blockage of aldosterone feedback system impair control of potassium concentration. So, effect of large changes in the potassium intake on plasma potassium concentration under normal condition, you can see here in this graphic picture, show the red line, and after the aldosterone feedback has been blocked, which is shown by the blue line, note the after blockage of the aldosterone system, regulation of potassium concentration was greatly impaired. So when the aldosterone feedback system was blocked, the same increase in potassium intake caused a much large increase in plasma potassium concentration from 3.8 to almost 4.8 milliequivalent. Thus, this control of potassium concentration is greatly impaired when the aldosterone feedback system is blocked. A similar impairment of potassium regulation is observed in a patient with poor functioning of the aldosterone feedback system, as occur in patient either primary aldosteronism, too much aldosterone, or the Addison's disease, too little aldosterone. Next, there is increased distal flow rate stimulates the potassium secretion. A rise in distal tubular flow rate, as you can see in this diagram, the relationship between the flow rate in the cortical collecting tubules and potassium secretion, and the effect of changes in the potassium intake. Note down that the high dietary potassium intake greatly enhanced the effect of increased tubular flow rate to increase potassium secretion. So, the normal tubular flow rate under most physiological conditions can increase the flow dependence of potassium secretion in the cortical tubular And the effect of tubular flow rate on potassium secretion in the distal and collecting tubule is strongly influenced by the potassium intake. When the potassium intake is high, increase the tubular flow rate has much greater effect to stimulate the potassium secretions than when potassium intake is low. You can see in this diagram. There are two effects of high volume flow rate that increase the potassium secretion. When potassium is secreted in tubular fluid, the luminal concentration of potassium increases, thereby reducing the driving forces for potassium diffusion across the luminal membrane with increased tubular flow rate. And second, there is high tubular flow rate also increases the number of high conductance big potassium channels or the BK channels in the luminal membrane. So the effect of increased tubular flow rate is especially important in helping to preserve normal potassium excretion during changes in the sodium intake. So you can see here in the next diagram the effect of high sodium intake on renal excretion of potassium. That the high sodium diet, the high sodium intake, there is decreased aldosterone secretion, which by itself would tend to decrease the rate of potassium secretions and therefore reduce the urinary excretion of potassium. The high sodium intake decrease aldosterone secretion and high tubular flow rate counterbalance each other so that there is little change in potassium excretion. Likewise, with a low sodium intake, there is little change in potassium excretion because of the counterbalancing effect of increased aldosterone secretion and decreased tubular flow rate on the potassium secretions. So, the beneficial effect of diet high in potassium and low in sodium content. The experimental and clinical study have shown that the combination of high sodium and low potassium intake increase the risk for hypertension and associated cardiovascular and kidney diseases. A diet rich in potassium protects against the adverse effect of a high sodium diet, reducing the blood pressure and the risk for stroke, coronary artery diseases, and the kidney diseases. The beneficial effect of increasing potassium are especially apparent when combined with the low sodium diet. So that's all for today. I hope so you will understand it. Thank you.